Good morning, CSL Simi Valley. Woo, what a beautiful, beautiful morning it is in LA and all around the Southern California area. Right?
So pretty.
I mean, I've talked about this EV car I have with the auto assist driving thing. I've never loved it more than this morning. I had that puppy on, and I was just like, oh, look at that mountain. Look at that mountain. Look how far down to the mountain that snow is over there. There's snow on the hills above Balboa. My goodness, it was like just Chatsworth, right? It's just amazing, amazing, amazing. And a friend of mine, this week, he texted me and says, boy, I bet you're happy you're not doing the weather nowadays, huh? I said, dude, you are so wrong. I feel like I am missing the Super Bowl. I am not in the game. That was the Super Bowl of weather we just finished having. And now, like everything else we do in California, we exported that thing across the country, and now it's blowing through Oklahoma with tornadoes. Oh, yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's see, what else is going on? Anything else going on? Anything you guys want to talk about? No, we have a discovery class today. The discovery class is the new membership class. So if you, it's what we have for people to become the governing member of the church. It's going to happen right after service. And I'm just curious, is anybody here planning to be there? Anybody? 1, 2, 3? It's going to be right here after service. Okay, because we're going to give you pizza. All right, but we'll see how many people show up for that. But we're doing this because we have an annual meeting coming up, and we would like for you to be a governing member in time for the annual meeting so that you can vote on our new boards of trustees. We have some new trustees we'll be electing, or actually I think some of them are just going to want to continue on. But come to the meeting, find out about what we do at that, and that's on March, when? 12th. I actually got a date right, I think. I got that date right. Yeah, and to that end, there are a couple of seats that are available. I think there's one seat that's available. So if you'd like to become a trustee, you can go and get an application from Danny or email her at this address right up here, DannyTaylor@cslcme.org. Every time I see that, I think about Danny, but I think about Danny. Danny Taylor. But it's the lady Danny Taylor, not the drummer Danny Taylor. We got a lot of Taylors around here. And she will mail you an application, and the submission deadline is on March 5th. The nominating committee committee will look at your application and see if you fit the criteria for becoming a board trustee, and if so, you get on the slate of candidates to be elected at the annual meeting, possibly based on what the community thinks of you and its ability to make that change. Okay, so that's the stuff about who we are. The discovery class is really great. Okay, here's the other thing. If you're not sure that you're a governing member, you might want to come to the discovery class anyway so you can be sure that you're a governing member so you can vote at the election. So that's for all you old folks, not old folks. That's for all you long-time attendees who might or might not be old. Who's ever old? There's not even old around here. We're like, Dr. Susan would come out and she would teach us like we're in youth school or something, because we are. I know I'm only 12. All right, let me stop being 12 and get on to about the business of who and what we are, which is this vision and mission statement that we say each week, because it reminds us not just how we are here and what this is all about, but if you think about these things, this is how we can live out in the world and what we can do as members of Center for Spiritual Living in Simi Valley and bring what we hear here each week into our daily lives and thereby change the world one person at a time, just by our attention to them. Here we go. You ready? We're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do.
Thank you. Good morning. Isn't it wonderful how it stopped raining just to make our drive easier? That was divine intervention. Let's pray in. Everybody, take a deep, conscious breath into this loving and embracing and warm space. A beautiful cocoon for all us to evolve into our beautiful butterflies that we are. And I know that we are all one. One in consciousness, one in reality. Each individual expressions of the divine, expressing especially as our special gifts that are unique to us. I am so grateful for this community and for all the unique expressions that are here and that fill me with more knowing of who I am by understanding each unique person here. I am so grateful for this teaching. I am grateful for the words spoken through Reverend Stephen this morning that I know will give each of us a way to evolve into more of who we are as our unique expressions. I know this is so. I release this word into the law of mind, and so it is.
And so it is. Please join us for our congregational song.
Well, I already felt her energy in the room, Dr. Susan, earlier, and we know that she created this incredible kids program, the Cosmic Kids, and we're trying to re-engage that program with the Cosmic Kid Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Kid Galaxy that we're starting up, and so we're getting all that together. But in the meantime, what I want to do is just have everyone here hold the consciousness for the growth of this program. We know that this has been a life-changing teaching for each and every one of us, and as we bring that teaching to younger people, perhaps the change in the world that we want to see to make this world work better for everyone will start to happen from just that one child that catches fire with this and goes off and does an amazing, wonderful things. So just know that for us and affirm it every day in your prayer. A big Cosmic Kid Youth Program for CSL Simi Valley.
Right
Yes. Okay.
So let's say our affirmation together. I'll say it first, and then we'll repeat it together. I am writing an incredible story with the help of the divine, and this awesome story is mine. Together. I am writing an incredible story with the help of the divine, and this awesome story is mine. And I chose today for a reading from one of my favorite authors, Mark Nepo, from his Book of Awakening. And it's a day book, and this is on page 259 for August 7th, but I thought it fit today. And it's about what we bring along. A river doesn't hold all the water that passes through it. In our journey through time, we all struggle constantly with what to bring along and what to leave behind. It feels so hard to throw anything away, but if we don't, we will drown underneath the weight of our own making. The river is a good model. It doesn't own the water that rushes by, yet it couldn't be in more intimate relationship to it, as the force of what moves through shapes it. It is the same with everything we love. In truth, there is no point to holding on to the deepest things that matter, for they have already shaped us. The purpose of sentiment, then, is to release the powerful feelings that sleep inside of us. Sometimes books and cards and shells and dried flowers do this, but often we carry more than we need, seldom trusting that what these small treasures represent is already living within us. Often the most useful gift we can give ourselves is to lay ourselves open like a river. It seems our theme today is about creating a new story, but I thought that part of that is letting go of an old story. And so this reading from Mark Nepo reminded me of, remember Marie Kondo just a few years ago? And she had all this, hold on to this object, and if it doesn't bring you joy, let it go. And I thought, well, maybe that's the same with letting go of an old story. You could look at it like an object. Does this story that I tell about my life bring me joy? And if it doesn't, then it's time to write a new story. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. This morning, our musical inspiration is our sister Dianne Wright. You can start the groove. So this song, we've done this before. You might know it. Sing along with us. This is it's a great musical affirmation. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible.
wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. It's awesome and incredible. He can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. Doing something wonderful in me. Here we go. So wonderful, so wonderful, so marvelous, so marvelous, so beautiful, so beautiful. God is doing it on the inside. God is doing it on the inside. And it's showing up on the outside. It's showing up on the outside. So wonderful, so wonderful, so marvelous, so marvelous, so beautiful, so beautiful. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Something awesome and incredible that only He can get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Sing it again. God is doing something wonderful in me. God is doing something wonderful in me. Good.
Sorry about the mic,
man.
but we got it.
That's all right.
It is now time for our gap meditation. This is the God awareness place. So when you're trying to silence your mind and there's all this noise, that little space in between the noise, that's where the divine resides in you. That we try to focus there. It'll be about 3 minutes. And Cherie will time us out and play us a little music when our time is up. Take a deep breath of consciousness and begin. Thank you, Cherie, and thank you, everyone, for sharing this brief moment of awareness with me. And I encourage you to make meditation a part of your daily spiritual practice.
Lovely. We've got another one from our dear Dianne. Come on up.
Church, this is my second visit here to your center, and it is family. Before I even came in for rehearsal and all throughout this whole morning, so much warmth and consideration and patience and concern and friendship and us just trying to be the best people that we can be towards each other, right? Well, that's what I've received, and I thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. If I may, Pastor, could I share my little concern? Okay. I would ask for your prayers on March the 9th is when I go in for heart surgery. And so it's, yeah, that was my initial feeling too when I was talking to the doctor. I was like, what? Me? I got stuff to do. What's up with this? But it's like we all of us, as we talk one to another, everyone's got their challenge. And I recognize I've had a heart murmur for years, and I've always been short-winded. I would get exhausted. I would, but when I was doing gymnastics and acrobats and playing basketball and doing all this swimming and doing everything in my youth, I always had enough sense to pace myself. So when I got really tired or fatigued or out of breath, I'd go sit down, catch my breath and wait a few minutes and get right back into the fray again. That's the way I've always been. And I know a lot of you can relate to that. So I just, the way I've always been, even when I was teaching, because I'm a retired school teacher, as I was teaching even, I would always encourage kids, you have to know your body, listen to your body. And I know that this challenge is from God. It's not anything that the enemy or something negative per se. It's to fix me. So please, y'all doctors and nurses, y'all just do whatever you got to do. So I did educate myself. I'm having a TAVR aortic valve replacement. Some of you have already had it done yourselves. Some of you know of people who have had it done. So I'm kind of fearless right now. And I just know that God's got me, and I have, please, Lord, give me some more time. I got stuff to do. So I'm going to encourage you all, as I have been learning these past few weeks, and my husband too, that we need to stop making excuses. And we need to do things now. And I got to get an advance directive together. I had to get my life insurance together. And Will, how about Will? Will? Okay, so that's been my reality. So God is going like, okay, I see you, and I'm trying to encourage you to get on with your life, however long He gives me. I can do it joyfully because I'm trusting Him. So I dedicate this song to all of you. It's called The Goodness of God. And thank you. I love you back. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life You have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest nights. You are close like none other. I've known you as a father. I know you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Yes, yes. All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I'm gonna sing to the goodness of God. Yes. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Yes. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, keeps running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I'll give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it keeps running after me. And all my life, you have been faithful. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. All my life, you have been so good, Mother, Father, God. With every breath that I'm able, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, yes, I'm gonna sing. All my life, I've been faithful, and so have you. All my life, you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness, oh, your goodness of God.
Dianne Wright. Dianne Wright. What do you call it? The right stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amen, amen.
God is good, as are you. Oh, my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. God is good, and the goodness of God, it is running after us. It's running through us. It's running with us all the time. And our job is to slow down and let it catch up and be one with it. That's what we learn about in Science of Mind, to be in alignment with that good that is always trying to push through. And that's kind of what's behind today's talk. It's like, once upon a time, great storyline, right? Once upon a time, there was good, and there was a person running away from it. So, but that made me think, like, opening lines for I was thinking about, this idea of story that I want to talk about today. And so I looked up some opening lines from different stories, because we want to write our stories, right? I mean, this might be big enough to do without that, because I think I used font 25. No, these are too good to mess up. These are good. Okay, Douglas Adams from The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Opening line. In the beginning, the universe was created. This made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. From the Lost Continent. I come from Des Moines. Somebody has to. From the long, dark tea time of the soul. It can hardly be a coincidence that no language on earth has ever produced the expression, as pretty as an airport. It can hardly be a coincidence that no language on earth has ever produced the expression, as pretty as an airport. If you've been in an airport lately, you know what that's all about. Right? They're not fun anymore. All right. Oh, here, The Princess Bride. This is my favorite book in all the world, though I have never read it. Now, this is a little long opening line for a story, but it goes like this. We're going to tell you about 3 of the children in Mrs. Jewell's class on the 13th story of Wayside School. But before we get to them, there is something you ought to know. Wayside School was actually built accidentally sideways. It was supposed to be only 1 story high with 30 classrooms in a row. Instead, it's 30 stories high with 1 classroom on each story. The builder said, I'm sorry. From the day of the Triffids. When a day that you happen to know us is Wednesday starts off by sounding like Sunday, there is something seriously wrong somewhere. And this one I really like. This is from Choke. If you're going to read this book, don't bother. So, what is the opening line to your story? What is your opening line? How do you start your story off? And how do you want to, if you don't like your opening line, rewrite it. This is what this is about. Rewrite it. Because you see, our stories are the novel autobiography of our experience. And I call it a novel autobiography because novel is also unique, and we're all unique individuations of the divine. But novels are also very fun stories to read. And our stories can have that kind of fun nature to them while we are very serious about how we go about living them. And we know that there is some good always unfolding for us, waiting for us, maybe creating kind of what Albert de Silva calls more like a personal myth. Our story is more like a personal myth. It's the story that we construct that unifies the various parts of our lives and gives our lives meaning and purpose, and it also helps us to see more about who ourselves are and how we relate to others. And the science mind is uniquely positioned to help us create that story in a very conscious and purposive way. We're not here by kismet. We're not here even by this idea of karma. We are here to consciously deliver to our experience what works for us in the best and most possible way. And to do that, to create a really good story for your life, you have to have a wonderful imagination and a little bit of curiosity to ask the question, like Dianne was just doing. God, what is there left for me to do? I have more things to do. What is this all about? What is this surgery thing coming up? It's for me to take a look at my life and maybe do something different, live a little more consciously in my experience of life. She shared, can I get a little personal? She shared with me earlier that maybe this is God telling me that I need to quit being an enabler. Because I enable my family. I take care of my husband. I take care of my kids, take care of my grandkids, and I'm not taking care of myself. I said, well, maybe it's telling you to enable yourself to be in self-care, to enable yourself to help these other people enable themselves. Maybe telling your story differently is just about tweaking some of the definition that you're already putting into your life experience. You don't have to change who exactly you are, but how you relate to who you are. That's the personal myth we get to tell ourselves. That's the imagination twitching, expanding the story for us. That's curiosity, uncovering the good and the truth that's behind who actually we really are. But we got to wake that up. That guy I was talking about, Albert Flynn de Silva, teaches poetry to young kids. And he went into a classroom, and he could tell that as he was getting ready for the class, this particular class he showed up for, that had a substitute. And he'd already been scheduled to speak. The teacher who asked him to speak was out that day, so it's a sub. And you know how subs can be with fourth graders. Fourth graders, right? They can be a little bit wild. He was noticing it as he was getting ready that some of the boys in the back of the class were creating spitballs on their desk and balling up pieces of paper. he thought, I wonder if I'm the target of those. And he saw that the girls in the class would look like they were interested, but they were also at that age where they were starting to be interested in the boys. And he was afraid that that the boys might take the girls on the journey of making his experience not that good. But he was there to teach them about curiosity, about wonder and imagination, about poetry. So he gets up to the beginning of the class and he tells this opening spiel and what poetry's all about, and that it's about sparking your imagination, and we're all creative geniuses, that we can all come up with these wonderful lines. And he threw out a couple of lines like I did a minute ago, and they landed about as well as those landed for you. So he was really starting to stress a little bit. And then he said, okay, I'm going to write this on the board. He says that, now here's how poetry works. You make similes. This is like that. This says a red setting sun is like, and he was waiting. He had his back turned, which he thought might be a strategic mistake, to be his back turned with all those kids in class, but no, he's waiting. A red setting sun is like, and he hears from the back of the room, like a blob of red ketchup slipping off a wet plate. And he went, thank you. And he turned back around and says, that's it. That's imagination. That's imagination. That's storytelling. He said, we got him. He goes on to say that we are all imaginative beings waking up to our creative potential, filled with unexpected ideas that are just waiting for the right spark, for the right example. That's who we are. We all are there. We have incredible imaginations. We are creating every time you think a thought, you're creating something anew. So we're creative. We're filled with unexpected ideas, and some of them are just waiting for that right spark, that right thing to kick it off. And the wonderful thing is the right spark and the right example is already within us. It is the idea that came to be. That's the spark. And the example is us making that idea come into experience. See, our story is our patterned iteration of life. There's a pattern to our life. There are things that keep happening. And our story links those things together, the iteration of things together, the utterance of our lives. It brings our remembered past activities and mixes them with our perceived present moments so that we can build an anticipatory future. It's the unit of all things. It's a triune nature. It's just like the teaching symbol. There's spirit, there's law, there's form, there's body. There's idea, there's action, and there's the created thing that comes out of the idea. That's what we're doing with our lives. Where we were, what we're feeling like right now, where we want to go. When you see a practitioner, what do they ask you? What do you want? And a really good practitioner will then ask you, what do you want to feel? And when you get to that feeling tone is coming from, well, I don't want to feel like that anymore. That's remembered past. And I'm not quite feeling like that right now. That's the present moment. Here's the anticipatory future. This is what I want to feel. And that's a creative process taking place. That is the process of us writing our story. Once upon a time it was this, and in the future I want that. And I can move it to that now, in this moment. Just like Douglas Adams. In the beginning, the universe was created. That made a lot of people very angry, but it doesn't have to. It can make you very, very happy and satisfied in this process. So our challenge often is that we are very familiar with our default set point. That's just the way I am. That's the way my mother was. It's like the person at the turkey thing, or the story where they wrap the turkey a certain way every year or something, and they don't even know why. Just because grandmother did it, and grandmother did it before her. It's not even necessary anymore. They did it because I think the story was they cut it off because the stove that they used years and years ago, the pan was too small, right? And then finally somebody just get a bigger pan, If your life's too small, just get a bigger pan, get a bigger story, a bigger idea. Like my friend that used to go to the Mongolian bowl place. I've told you that story many times. The lady who put the lettuce, the romaine around the sides of her bowl, so when she went to Mongolian barbecue, she had a big hump of food left over instead of that little hump that's when you just put, right? Just get a bigger container for your story, you see. But we sit in that limited set point that this is enough. This is enough. But we have a refined space within us where we can open up to an unlimited awareness of our future and what is good for us, to tap into our spiritual font of energy to change our story. I was speaking with someone this week about that very thing. I'm going to invite her up right now to talk about a story that she changed for herself. Elaine, would you like to come up?
Thank you. Some of you heard this story on Wednesday, but
Take center stage, girl. You on. This is you. I'm going to stand over here.
Thank you. In a couple weeks, March 13th, will be the 1-year anniversary that I had experienced a brain hemorrhage. And it was very scary, and I was walking around in a lot of anxiety and terrified, like, is that the last time I'm going to see her face? Is this the last time I'm going to see the blue sky? I realized how you just dropped it like that. It was just scared me so much. And so they said I had a brain hemorrhage, and I put that on. It's like, well, how does that feel? It didn't feel good. And then they said, well, that's the same thing. It's a type of a stroke. So, and it isn't, I would say to people, I had a stroke, and it isn't basically what they thought. It's how that felt within myself. It didn't feel good. And then I played with it for a little while, and after a few months, I decided to tell people I had a brain fart. And that made me feel better. And okay, I could say that, and I played with it. But then just a couple of months ago, it came to me, and I had a brain awakening. So now my story is that I had an awakening. Thank you.
Nice. Beautiful rewrite. Beautiful rewrite. That is the truth of us. See, we are magnificent expressions called forth to rewrite our story, to take a perspective that brings us into a place that we can step into the overflow of good into our lives. The goodness of all of us is available to us, and the goodness there is that we are all geniuses. We're all geniuses, able to do what Elaine is doing, able to do what Dianne is getting ready to do, able to do what you are about to do for your life to create a bigger and larger story. And we can use the principles that we teach here to do that. The conscious awareness of how we are thinking, what that thinking is doing to our experience of life right now, and how a simple change in the words, in the verbiage that we use to describe our experience will lead to a fresher, lighter experience of life. Going on with De Silva, he says that merely by the fact that you exist, you cannot help being a genius. This is your very nature. It is who you are, whatever your story or situation. You are a genius. Why? Because we are tapped into a universal presence that has all knowledge and all information available to it. And so we get to use that as we become conscious of it and decide, make the choice to make it our own. And sometimes it's hard. I know I like to write. And occasionally I will start writing, and this thing, the blank page, it's like, what do I have to write? What do I have to say? Sometimes in the doing and the idea that I have to do something, I stall. And what I understand in that moment is I have to be. In that moment that I have the blank page syndrome, I go into beingness. And the being in that moment for me is that I am a writer. I am being a writer. And almost through some kind of, like I said last week, the alchemical magic of the mind, words start to appear in my head that move through my hand and get onto the page. And I write what my English teacher called the excrement deleted first draft. So just write the first draft. And then you can edit out whatever. And you write, I had another teacher said that when you write a paper, just start writing, and then when you finish, just take the first page and throw it away, because that's just you clearing your throat for what you really want to say. And it's an amazing process what happens. It's I surrender. So when you're looking to change your story, maybe it's just a matter of surrendering and recognizing and putting yourself in that be space. How is it that I want to be? You know, how does I want to be? Surrender to that and allow the curious mind, the pearls of wisdom, to float up from that divine consciousness, to open up to the potentiality, to the inspiration, to the depth of discovery that is waiting for you as you just go into that gap space and allow it to be. Delving into the unknown to find the known. Delving into the unknown to find understanding. delving into the unknown to look at what is yourself and what is that self all about, and how does that self relate to others? Because remember, we're in this thing together to experience togetherness. I had a great conversation with my dad this week, and I was sharing about feeling together, because I love the idea that inside the mind there's only the one. And he says, you use together as if everybody's cooperating. They might be in it together, but they're not cooperating, so they're not together. So we had this philosophical wordsmith thing going on, and I came to the idea that he's right. We're in this together, but we're not always cooperating. But if we practice togetherness, we can. Can we be in that space? To be in that devotional space, to be committed to the other as much as we are committed to ourselves. And devotion is a wonderful thing to do. Devotion is to consecrate, to live and act with enthusiasm. And we know that enthusiasm is a God space. Enthusiasm in theo, activity. Asm, activity. To be in God, to be enthusiastic, to be devoted to writing our story on a daily basis. Reminds me of my friend Kristen. When she would see you, she'd walk up to you and she'd say, hi, love your story. Hey, love your story. Can you love your story? And in loving your story, you get to decide not only what you write, but what you will publish. And when I say publish, I mean bring into experience. Not write on page and make a book and send it out there like John Seeley does. I'm talking about your daily activity of life is you publishing your story. That's how you make it happen, so that we can read your story and your actions and your being. John O'Donohue says that the notion of the divine imagination, brings out the creativity of God. And creativity is the supreme passion of God. So when we talk about our own situations and we look at those with that space of imagination and bring this passion into it, we are stepping into the creative moment with the creative activity of God. And that's what we really do. Everything that we're doing, since we live in the experience that is God, when we are creating, we are co-creating, we are living that passionate experience on a daily basis. And since God loves imagination, God is the most supremely curious thing of all, and has put that into you, then we get to be that way. To be like the child is before we get a hold of them. You know? Once we get a hold of a kid, we stop that, don't do that, put that down. But if we can get back to that place where we are curious enough to reach for that, even if, oh, that shocked me, I won't reach for that again. But whatever those things are, that's the place we want to be. That's what we want to open up to. And let this curiosity be our own passion. Can you love curiosity? Can you be so willing to let go of where you are today to experience something new that's coming into your life? And do that with passion, the passion that becomes like the Energizer Bunny for your creativity. Once we get the passion going, passion will lead us to a purpose and longing, the desire, purpose, you'll see it, you'll have it, you'll want it, that longing will lead to success. So we're in another process, we're in another three-way process again. Our lived story is so important because it's the experiences of the divine being made manifest in time and space. Our story is God acting out here in this physical plane. How do we want to see that happen? We get to choose that. That's really cool. There's no God that's telling us we have to do it this way. It's us saying we're going to do it this way because we've been inspired by the divine to live our future in this particular form. So let's open up to it. Dan P. Adams says that given a little space and a shift of attention, your imagination comes alive to color your life with beauty and possibility. Give it some space. Give yourself some space. How many times have you said to your partner, I need some space? Maybe you might want to tell that to your story. I need some space. Right? And in that space, you get a shift of attention, and then your imagination informs, and next thing you know, more beauty, more color, more possibility showing up in your experience. See, so all this I'm talking about is ours to use. The power of the divine is within us. It's ours to use. It's our ultimate purpose to evolve. That's what we're here for anyway. You're not the same yesterday as you were today. Today as you were yesterday. You're not going to be this way today, tomorrow. It's not possible to do that. And if you think it's that way for you, this is what you need to. This is when you need to go do that examination space, because it really isn't. That's just a perception. The reality is you are different today than you were yesterday, and you will be different tomorrow, even if it feels like the same day, even if it feels like you're Bill Murray stuck in a movie, Punxsutawney, and you don't know how to get out of it. Even he learned how to play, right? He learned how to play the piano. He actually figured out how to not walk through that puddle every day. It's all, we get to change all the time. That's what we're here to consciously cooperate through this inquiry, through this participatory universe that we're in, to find our purpose and to live our purpose that more fully. We are the writers. We are the writers telling the story of our lives. So by simply activating my imagination, my individualized expression, my individuation becomes a collective, collaborative, inspirational action in life. And then suddenly, the thing that I'm doing impacts the thing that you're doing. And the thing that you're doing impacts the thing that someone else is doing. And next, the whole tide of the universe starts to lift up just a little bit as we join in this unified field of creativity. Ernest Holmes says that the latent divinity within us, the latent divinity, think of that, it's just laying there waiting. It's waiting for you to activate it. And it stirs our imagination. And because of its insistent demand, these ideas you have, they're going to keep coming back. The one that keeps coming back, that's the insistent demand of spirit, calling you forward to this next iteration of your life, this next pattern activity of your life. What are you going to do with that? Listen to it, because it will impel you and compel you to grow. And that's what we're all here to do anyway. If we're hanging around in life, how many episodes of a certain show can you watch? Well, I can tell you can watch. No. But we are called to listen, to stop some of the chatter that's arguing for our limitations, that's asking us to stay this way, that this is the way we are. We're asked to stop listening to that chatter, to step into this space where we can say yes, and right now, in two ways. Right now, your new story. Once upon a time, what's it going to be? And so it is. I almost want to say, get out your pens. Here you go. I am writing an incredible life story with the help of the divine, and this awesome story is mine. Yes, it is. So when we step into that moment of prayer, I'm just having a personal moment. The experience of transition is so powerful. Dianne talked about it briefly in a kind of an aside. God, I'm not ready to go, right? We've all felt it personally as a community because of what's recently happened with Dee. We've all felt it in our own individual lives. I had a moment this morning where I was thinking about Al as we were talking, And so many of you, I can go through the room and share experiences that we've had with someone going into a different experience of life. And others that have gotten new life with Brad getting a son through marriage, So as we go into the space of healing prayer, I want to do a little something different today. I want you to close your eyes and allow an ancestor, a wisdom keeper, someone from the past, or in some way, some entity that represents a significant transition in your life. This is something I don't know what this is, but we're going to go with it, okay? Just go with me here. Feel that presence of that entity, I'm going to call it person, whatever, and ask them, what is mine to do? Because they're in a wisdom space beyond our own ability to understand. So ask, what is mine to do? And if the answer doesn't come today, that's okay. You've asked the question, it will come. And as I do this revealing prayer today, what I'm knowing right now is that connection that we have just made to the thing that is beyond the beyond, that is now present in our consciousness, knows exactly what that whisper is, what that latent divinity is calling forward for us to do, to write a different, better, deeper, more expansive story. And by this word, I'm affirming that we step into the power of that story and become the demonstrators of that idea through the experience of our life. That we take our conditioned past and our perceived present and we step into an anticipatory future that is beyond our wildest explanations or understandings, because it's coming from a place beyond our understanding into a place of full understanding. This is a divine connection we're experiencing today, and we're taking that connection out into the world to make it real in time and space, in this plane, to make a difference for ourselves and for the world. I'm just so grateful for this inspiration that has said, I can reach into the depth of imagination and curiosity and find an answer that seems like it's coming from a place of what? And goes to a place of yes, right now. Grateful to know this, allowing this to be true, taking it forward into expression by delivering it to the divine mind that says, yes, yes, take it, make it, go. And so it is. Okay. So this is where we do a couple of talks about things that are going on in our community, how we support our community each week. These are the things on the screen. We're going to do our affirmation in a minute, and I'll talk about that in a second. But before I do that, I would like to bring up our treasurer from the Board of Trustees, Bridget Silverstein, who is here to share some comments with us today. It's so lovely to have you here. You have the stage. Take it. Command that thing.
So I'm not usually here on Sundays, and I'm not allowed out very much, so.
She's on a day pass.
And my favorite thing to do is stand up in front of everybody and talk. I'm going to address the discovery class this afternoon, but I wanted to take a few minutes to introduce myself. There's new faces, and I just have the honor of being your treasurer, and I'm involved in all aspects of the finances here at the church.
All of them.
All of them. Did somebody say all of them? Oh, yeah. He doesn't spend a dime without asking me. Or he hides from me, I don't know. So you guys have heard for a long time now, you've seen slides about our Conscious Giving program and the pledge cards. And I just wanted to say that it can be overwhelming to commit to anything. And I think sometimes there's an apprehension. You feel like, oh my God, I have to commit to a lot of money. When I've been here 10 years, and when I started on the Conscious Giving program, I donated $25 a month. Every amount matters, and you can always increase it, but it's as the program, pun intended, it's a consciousness, it's an intent, and anything that you give comes back 100-fold, whether it's in our church or it's out in the community. We're family, and every bit helps. And I just want to, if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but I think there's sometimes an apprehension to make that commitment, and I just want to let you know that you're not alone, and that every bit helps, and we appreciate everything.
I appreciate you, Bridget.
Thank
you work
you.
really hard. Thank you so much. So we have this affirmation of abundance we do each week. We had a board E-team meeting. Our ecclesiastical team met this week, and we made some tweaks to the pledge. First off, we moved the world in front of CSL Simi Valley. So we kind of go the world, the community, and then we added ourselves to it, and me, all right? So just want you to have that. So read it through real quickly, right? So let's do that together in the updated form. Are you ready? Here we go. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for the world, Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley, and me now. Divine love is victorious. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, now, where's Darlene? Oh, there you are. Okay. This is come play upstairs today. Come on up here, too. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, you're ready. But don't let him run. Just stay there. Okay. There you go.
Hi there. I'm Darlene Bellis, and I'm a volunteer, and I happen to work in the office. And I have to say my little spiel. Hello, my beautiful, caring, creative, quirky community committed to consciousness. Hello, my spiritual family. I asked Reverend Stephen if I can say a word because we haven't had many events the last 3 years. Some of you know why. So we are starting to do events. And I realized we had Ray Davis here a couple weeks ago. Wow, what a workshop. And I felt so sad because so many people came up to me and said, I hadn't heard about the Ray Davis workshop. I wish I could cancel my plans, but I can't. So it dawned on me, we have a nice group come on Wednesday, but most of you don't come on Wednesday. So you might not read the Wednesday email that comes out on Tuesdays. But the Tuesday email actually includes events we have. So I'm here to encourage you to look at your Tuesday email that highlights other events. Because the subject does say Wednesday. I was thinking maybe we should change that.
Oh, that's an idea.
So we have a sound bath on Friday, for example. You'll see it also when the baskets are being passed around. It's also up here. So I just don't want you guys to miss out because we are a community that loves to party together. We love to meditate together. We love to be together. And there's a potluck coming up. So anyway, that's why I'm here to say, please check out the Tuesday email for events coming up. And thank you and good night.
Well done. All right. All right, so there's the story. And that's a great idea. We'll have to figure out a name to put on the Tuesday email. And if you're like, what do you mean, the Tuesday email? Even though you've been here a while, sign up on the visitor form and make sure your email address is legible and put it on there because we go through that every week. We look and see who signed up, and we'll make sure that you're on the constant contact to receive the weekly e-blast. I got a text already from Mary Medlock. She says, I'm not on there. I'm not getting my email. So we're going to check and make sure she's getting hers. And if you're not getting yours, make sure we have your email address, and we'll make sure that you're on the list to get it. And we will not spam you and send you stuff, just Tuesday and then Friday to tell you about Sunday, all right? Now, here's the rest of our events for the week. The ushers are going to pass the baskets, and Cherie's going to play some lovely music while Mona runs through the slides.
I so joyfully and gratefully accept these gifts, this love energy circulating through this community to grow each individual here in consciousness and to grow the community and the world beyond through these wonderful gifts. I accept them, I receive them, I love them, and I'm so grateful, and so it is.
We got one last one from Miss Dianne.
Well, it's actually going to be all of us
Yeah.
in a minute. Yes. This song was made famous during the Civil Rights Movement. Since we're nearing the end of Black History Month, I'm happy to present it to you, and I know you guys are going to just sing right on along with this little light of mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All through the church, all through the church. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. All through the church. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let's take it up a little bit, huh? That's right. Go ahead and sing it. This little light. Come on, come on, come on. Ooh, that's nice. I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. Oh, let it shine. Let it shine. Come on, sing it one more time. Come on. Come on. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, yes. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. We're gonna do this all over the world. It's all over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. All over the world. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. 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 Oh. All right, well, little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I just love her voice. This little light, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Yeah, amen. Just some more, just some more, just some more.
From every hilltop and every mountain, I'm gonna let it shine. From the gullies to the valleys, up to the mountaintop, I'm gonna let it shine.
I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine,
This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine.
oh yes,
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. From the desert to the sea, from the desert to the sea, I'm gonna let it shine. From Santa Monica, Simi Valley, I'm gonna let it shine. From the front yard to the backyard, all right, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hey! Having some church, bringing some church up in here. Boom! Boom! That's right. There it is. Oh, yeah. I tell you, we got some folks that are just making this place so happening. I gotta thank Leslie for the chimes. Costa, our lead on the service team for today. Ron and Layla and John for also being on the service team for today. So good to see you up here. I know you love doing that. Deborah on stage. We've got John doing solo in the booth. Mazialco doing solo in the booth on the video because Greg, I don't know what's up with this Gregory Seymour. We get him free of the booth. Now he's back there training to do slides. He's channeling people. It's so great. But Mona was on slides today. Thank you so much, Mona. It's great. We love our Soul Purpose band. You guys are amazing. Steve Fowler, Bob Towley, Randy Jones, and we got Lane Taylor. The L is in the house. So good to see you too. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Where'd Diane go? Thank you so much, Diane. It's just love having you here. We will put you. We have a compassionate care team that does prayer. We'll put your name in there, so you'll be in our prayer. All our practitioners will be praying the truth for you. And let's bring our practitioner of the day up right now. Brad's going to work in the office after service, so thank you, Brad, for your service as well. Okay, so Elaine, what are you going to do?
I am available for prayer.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be standing right over there under that exit sign. So, and if you need prayer, we'll go into the little prayer room over there, and I'll be happy to give you a spiritual mind treatment.
And you can see, and also the prayer box.
The prayer box is back there. I did check it earlier, and it's empty. But there are little cards over there. You can write your prayer requests, and they are sent out on an email to our prayer team, so they will be taken care of.
Yeah, so just know that every week you can come in first thing when you come in. If you want to, you can put a prayer in the prayer box, or on your way out, put a prayer in the prayer box. Our practitioners love to pray for you and to know the truth for you. So we got some stuff coming up. I'm going to tell you about those things. So we have the discovery class that's going on for today, as you know already. And what else on there? Come on, you guys, lead me. Push the slide button. There you go. All right, because it takes a village, especially for this guy. The Power in Your Decision class is amazing, and we had 11 students. We have 2 more that are coming this week, and if you'd like to join us, this is the last week to jump into the class, so please come on out Tuesdays at 7 in the classroom. It's an amazing chance to dive into the teachings of Raymond Charles Barker and to see how the decisions that you make in your life can be more purposely done, and that's a really wonderful thing to involve ourselves in. And then, of course, we also have our sound bath that's coming up this week, is it this next week? This Friday, isn't it? This Friday. That's right, the sound bath. You got a sound bath slide to remind them about that? We don't have that one? Well, I know what it is. It's on Friday. It's at 7. It's in here. We move all the chairs out. We lay all over the floor like a big old sleepover. And then Ketrin Earwood and her husband Jerry come out and they bang these gongs. And the vibrational energy is just amazing. They've got a gong that makes this guy go, because it's just huge. We got 4 of them, and it just vibrates through the room. It's a magnificent experience, so we definitely want you to come out to that. The celebration of Dee's life is March 11th at 11. It'll be right here. So we want to make sure that you know about that. And you may have noticed in the announcements the community calendar with the various events that are taking place, like the rainwater harvesting program and the youth program for kids and stuff like that. We encourage you to go to those various sites and to check out those events, because that's how we can take who we are out into the community and let them see us. When you go like, where are you from? You make sure you tell them you're from the Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley, and they'll say, what is that? And you get to tell them, and they go like, wow, I didn't know they had such a thing. in Simi Valley. You mean I can go somewhere and go to a sound bath? I didn't know they had that in Simi Valley. You mean I can go somewhere and meditate on Thursday night? I didn't know they had that in Simi Valley. And we do. Where? Here. So let people know about it. So join up, go out in the world, and share who we are. Because people all the time say, have you found Jesus? Well, have you found the center of your spiritual living? It's right here. It's right here. Okay, let's close things up with our benediction. We'll all stand, we'll say these words and put them into your consciousness. We don't say this just because like it's a good way to end. It's saying this because all these things are the truth of you and the truth of who we are and how we can be in the world. It's kind of like the back end of our vision and mission statement. Here we go. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love. Boom.
Love be with you, peace unfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, to come through you, make it flow to you, make joy renew you, till we meet again. Love be with you, ooh, love be with you, ooh, love
Here. No, come over here. But no, see the little knob? You got to open the knob and pull up the center thing. The center. Yeah, once you unloosen that,